Hi, everybody. I'm Gwendolyn Sterk of Sterk Family Law, and we're here in March 2022 to introduce you to our not-for-profit hero of the month. So today I have with me Hadi Finerty of the Alzheimer's Association. Welcome. How are you today?
Hi, Gwen. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Can you tell us a little bit about the Illinois chapter of the Alzheimer's Association?
Yeah, of course. So the Illinois chapter, we serve 87 out of the 102 counties in Illinois. The association provides care and support and a ton of other stuff that I can get into, but we just provide care and support into the 87 counties that we service. So it can look like, early diagnosis and prevention. We're out there advocating for more funding, to our support groups, to our Walk to End Alzheimer's. But we have offices all throughout the state, one of them being in Chicago, and then our, remote office in Joliet, all the way down to Marion, Illinois. So we're here, we're, wanting to be out there educating, bringing awareness to this disease.
That's great. Now, can you give us a little history of how you were formed in Illinois and how you developed your services that you render to people?
Yeah, so in 1980, the association actually became a Provided Reliable Information and Care Consultation Association, and it was created just by having support services for families. So what ended up happening is they started to realize that there was a need for this, and that they started to increase the funding for dementia research. Then it became, an influenced public policy changes across the state. So just by word of mouth, and in 1980, there was only one office, and then the association started to grow and grow.
Now, particularly we might have a listener today who knows that they're tuning in because they know that this is an issue that their family is going to face or maybe beginning to face, but they don't even know where to start. So what would you recommend to the listener today who says, either one, I acknowledge that something's going on with me, or two, I know that something's happening in my family and I need to do something about it? Where do people start?
Great question. So a lot of people go right onto our website, alz.org/Illinois, and you can get lost there. There's tons and tons of information. They just start, what is the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? And we have an excellent education program called the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. So we go over what those 10 warning signs look like, because of course we all have, and I'm sure Gwen, I have the same thing. There's normal aging, right? As you get older. And I always joke, because even for myself, I'm trying to get my kids in the car, myself to work, and I'm halfway down the block thinking, did I shut the garage door? Right. And I'm driving back around because I can't remember stuff. Typical aging, of course, it happens to everyone, but in this education program, it breaks it down. So a lot of people, they'll go onto our website, they'll call our helpline. Our helpline is a great resource. You can start there. It's 800-272-3900. It's master level clinicians. They can help you. If it's something where I don't even know where to begin, you can start with a care consultation and meet one of our social workers and kind of start from there and figuring out where to go, what plans you need to have in place, meeting with families. So I think the website and our helpline is a great tool to begin with.
And I think that's wonderful, because I think people are afraid, they don't want to go to the doctor's office and talk to them because it's going to be in the reports. And I don't know if you've been on the charts that they're servicing online, but now I've noticed you can read not only what you might get as your discharge papers, but you can go in and read the notes. So people don't want to have that in their medical records. Mm-hmm. What if something were happen? What if something would happen to their job? What if they're still supporting a family? We all know this can be onset much earlier than people really realize. And I think people are afraid to take that first step. So when they contact your organization, is it confidential?
It's confidential. It just stays with, we don't report anything. It just stays with so if it's a care consultation, it just stays with them. Everything is confidential. If they're calling the helpline, the same exact thing.
And that would be true also if you were calling for a family member who you suspected had a problem. You don't want to confront them either, right?
Yes. And they actually give you those tools of how to have those conversations, because of course people are going to get defensive about that. Right. No one wants to hear, oh, I think you have Alzheimer's or dementia. It's a scary term still.
Now, is there an economic threshold for the people you service, or do you take anybody just associated with the disease itself?
Anybody.
And I think that people get afraid about that too, that they're afraid to call organizations because they're afraid there's going to be charges for your services. So are there charges, or is this something that comes free of charge?
Yeah, so all of our education programs, our helpline, everything is free.
And people, become very concerned about that because they don't want to get, into a financial obligation either, where somebody could track it, trace it, do whatever it is that is necessary. And I think that people have a lot of questions. And I know that doing divorce as we do, we've had a lot of cases where the spouse will come in and say, I suspect it. And we've seen it happen throughout the divorces and really triggering family issues and family dynamics and people not knowing where to start. So I think this is an excellent opportunity if you're listening today to get help, to understand what the difference is, what this disease is, what dementia would look like, what the different types of the diseases are, and what the stages in development, although everybody goes through it differently. Isn't that true as well?
Every individual is different, yes.
And I think that that's sometimes a little hard to take within that structure. So now we know how somebody could reach out to you if you know, and you're a family member and you've called in, you've talked to one of the master level clinicians, you may have gone to your education programs and you're still having difficulties. Are there other services that are available or can be referred to?
Yeah, so I always suggest, just even reaching out to the helpline and get a care consultation, because those are where you're having the one-on-one meetings. And those meetings can be anything. It could be, you know what, I don't even know really where to begin, and I need my family to be on board with me, because as you know, some people are in denial. Some people don't even want to deal with it. Some people don't even have family nearby and they live out of state. Right. So that is a great resource just to have, just to kind of figure out where to go from there. We have tons of online tools. I think in the last couple of years, especially with the pandemic, we have ALZ Connected, and people don't feel alone, because on ALZ Connected, that's an online community. You can connect with anyone. You can connect people that are living with Alzheimer's. You can connect with people that are living in the early stage of Alzheimer's. You can post questions. There's been people where they've gone on to ALZ Connected, did not realize that they live 4 miles away from each other and have met for coffee and have bonded that way. So there's a ton of other resources out there just to help. I mean, some people, that's the only way, is maybe they're caregivers and they can't leave their home because they're taking care of their loved one. They can still connect with ALZ Connected too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, I think the pandemic forced all of us to do that. Actually, instead of looking at it always as a negative, we have to look at it a positive, right? Because people can do this and it gives a confidential resource for them to do it. Now, let's say that you had a loved one that suffered from Alzheimer's, or alternatively, they passed away from it. And you just say, I have a passion for this area and this disease. How can people support you? How can they get involved? Tell us a little bit about what you offer in the community.
I love when people say, how can I get involved? We're always looking for volunteers. There's tons of different volunteer opportunities. There's some people who maybe are not comfortable public speaking. So I like to say, the boots on the ground. They're the face of the association. They're at health fairs. They're providing resources to people at the health fair tables. Whether it's, you want to be an advocate and go to Springfield and advocate for more money. We have, we always look for advocacy volunteers. There's Walk to End Alzheimer's volunteers. So maybe you want to help the day of and just go to the walk and set up. And then, there's volunteers that will set up in the morning and then they're walking with their families in the afternoon. Those are always, we're looking for people that are community educators. So these individuals actually do education programs. So they're not afraid to public speak. They go out into the community. They do presentations like the 10 warning signs or understanding Alzheimer's and dementia. So, there's tons of different opportunities. Some people, they have a passion. Maybe they're, have a social work degree and they want to be a support group facilitator. We have over right now 50 support groups in Illinois. Some, right now they're virtual, but as we're moving back into what, the new normal is, they will be going back to in person.
Those are great opportunities, because a lot of people, you go to work every day, you come home, you're with your family, but that you want to do something for the greater good. And this is an opportunity for everybody to give back. Now, are there any upcoming events that you can tell us about that you're going to be involved with, or somewhere where we might be able to get to know you a little better, or the organization a little better as well?
Yes. So thank you for asking that. We actually are going to be hosting a community forum at the Orland Park Library on Thursday, June 23rd at 6 p.m. And it's just really just to get to know the community, see what, just to hear the community, what the needs are, how we can work together, what we can do at the Alzheimer's Association to provide, just support to the community. I know Orland Park is working on being dementia friendly. The Orland Park Library has been great with including us in that and just hosting us there. So I'm really looking forward to it. I know Orland Park is a great community, and I'm happy to hear just how we can work together to have more of a dementia friendly, city.
Absolutely. And I know that our staff in particular are dementia friendly trained, and they've been taking the course, et cetera, to just try to understand, look at any of us, one could suffer from the disease, two, we could have it in our family, or three, we could just meet somebody along life's road, and understanding how to deal with that situation and somebody being able to identify it in a way and be able to communicate and have a plan of action. Sometimes it's just having knowledge to know what to do in that given situation, because that knowledge is power. Can you give us that information again about that Orland Park meeting, please?
Yeah, so the Orland Park Community Forum is on Thursday, June 23rd at 6 p.m. at the Orland Park Library. It will probably be about an hour and a half long, and we're just going to hear about what the community needs are.
That's fantastic. So whether or not you are an individual with the disease, a family member, somebody in our community has a business, needs to know more, has questions to facilitate, all are welcome, correct?
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, and anybody is welcome. That's
fantastic. Well, what a great opportunity to learn a little more. Is there anything else that you would like to add today to tell us about your organization?
Yeah, and if you want to walk and join us at the 2022 Walk to End Alzheimer's, it is in Orland Park, and that is on October 1st of this year. So you can find that information if you go onto our website. But again, it's October 1st, and you can go to alz.org/walk. And you can find all of the walks across the state. So maybe you live in Orland Park, but you have family members that are in Chicago or Joliet or wherever the case may be. But our Walk to End Alzheimer's is also a great event to be at.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for the information
Thank you.
today. I think that we most appreciate opening these barriers and talking about the situation. So if you're out there today and you've had an experience or you need to start dealing with these questions, there's a nice place that you can go to and get questions in a confidential manner before you move forward. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.